Hey yo, what's up guys? The preseason patch 11.23 is now out and there are a bunch of new items that I quickly wanted to give my thoughts on. So let's just start with Crown of the Shattered Queen. So I was really scared when I just saw the Riot Games video introducing it because I didn't know how exactly it would work. But essentially how it works is that it's a passive that you have, which means that you can proc the passive and then it takes 40 seconds before that passive comes back, which I really like because if it wasn't active, it would be way too broken and way too safe for mages and scaling champions to take, because they could just activate it whenever the assassin is going to like try and all in you. But when it's a passive, you can just proc it, wait those few seconds where the passive is then active, and then after the passive is down, then you can essentially go all in. So I was pretty scared at first, but I think the item is, fine. Not as broken as I was afraid of, but essentially in some situations it could still be really, really strong, especially in combination with Hourglass. It gives you some safety. You're able to scale a little bit more easily without dying. So it is still a pretty good item, and I don't like the fact that it's another safe item when mages already have Hourglass, but it's not as broken as I thought at first. So yeah, thank God to that. Then we have Even Shroud. So Even Shroud, in my opinion, works really, really well on those tanks, either in the jungle or top lane or even support. And I think that it's giving a little bit too much damage. But if you just lower the damage a little bit, so maybe from 12% down to 10 or 8%, something like that, then I think the item is completely fine, and I think it's a good change. But tune down the damage a little bit. Then we have Axiom Arc. So I've tried this item on Kha'Zix, and it's working quite well, especially with R-Evolve. The passive is quite broken, especially for team fights, for some specific champions. So it's kind of like a shitfest type of item. Like Nocturne will use it. I've seen some Arctis players even do it as a last item to get 2 ultis. So it's quite broken, especially for team fights during like laning phase and fights where you only get 1 or 2 kills. I don't think it's too bad. I think it's actually quite a good change. But in those team fights where you essentially get 3 kills, then you have your ulti pretty much back up, and then you can use it again for one of the last 2 champions that are alive. That is quite broken. I'm not 100% sure how I would change the passive. Maybe add like a cooldown to it so that you can only proc it like once every maybe 5 seconds or 10 seconds or something. Because in team fights, this item is pretty strong whenever you win the team fights. If you lose the team fight, it's essentially useless, right? But if you win the team fight, it seems like you pretty much just guaranteed an ace every single time. It's a bit of a shitfest item. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for Axiom Arc. Then we have Shadow Flame. So I like the idea of the fact that now AP champions can also like reduce shields, just like Serpent's Fang. The issue that I have though is that I don't see a lot of mages building this item because they already have their core items set. So essentially what this means is that you wouldn't, as a mage, you wouldn't add Shadow Flame to your build because you pretty much already have 6 really good items for your champion that you're looking to get. And Shadow Flame, to me, doesn't really seem like an item that is worth replacing one of your other items with, unless you're in a very specific situation where one of your like core items essentially is not as good. But I think that's quite rare. So I like the idea of Shadow Flame, but I don't think it's gonna be used all that much, simply because that mages already are pretty much gonna build the same 6 items and are not looking to change anything in their build in terms of changing an item for another. So I like the idea, but I don't think it's gonna be bought all that much. Then we have Winter's Approach. I haven't seen this item too much. I know that champions like Hecarim, I think I've also seen some Rise players buy it. It's an okay item, in my opinion. It seems to be very specifically directed towards a specific set of champions, so this means that it's not a very broad item that a lot of champions will end up using. And as long as the item doesn't make that specific champion really, really broken, then I'm completely fine with it. But so far, I haven't seen any real issues with the item. I have not played against it too much, so I can't really 100% say, but from the few games that I have played with and against it, it didn't seem too broken, and it honestly seemed quite okay in the game. So those are the 5 new items. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the new item changes, and see you guys in the next YouTube video.